Hello guys, welcome back to Becoming Her. Alright, so we're going to transition a little bit. What we have going on the second half of this.
So, we've been talking about relationships, how it affects us a little bit, and we wanted to do a little icebreaker and ask each other and piggyback and ask each other some questions from some relationship cards we had. If you have an answer to these questions, please make sure you comment in the box below. We would love to see your responses. So who wants to go first?
Let me go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, let's see. What do we have here, ladies? Okay. You're dating a person and they say that they want to wait until marriage to have sex. How would you respond?
No.
No?
I grew up in the church. I've been at my church for 39 years. The reality is it with the new millennials, we are not virgins. We can date. I still need to test the waters, because if we date and we get to that point, oh, he's everything, and then when we just talk about sex is important, and it's, oh no, everything you do is wrong. The way you chew, the way you spit, the way you walk down the street.
Breathing?
Like, if you can't participate in gray sweatpants, we don't even, like, it's just, it's a part of a relationship.
Not the gray sweatpants.
She did. I can't.
And just sent us a meme that said, I need some dick, because I think the last person I had sex with gave me some pussy.
And it seems like
that is not okay.
And it seems like the passionate guys that want to be there for you and comfort you and be the ideal man and to be the ones be like, oh, so that's what I gotta look to for the next 30, 40 years.
That's right.
So I do believe sex before marriage, because originally, biblically, it was designed for marriage, which means we would only, experience our husband or our mate. But that's not the world we live in anymore. I've had sex before. I know what I like. I know what I want. You can be the total,
don't like,
and I know what you don't. Yeah, you could be the whole total package. And when we get to that part, that could ruin the I do. Or the engagement, it could ruin a lot of things. We gotta go see a doctor,
get
an
engagement, because y'all haven't had sex yet.
But it's important. It'll like, how they say when you meet when a man meets a woman in the first 30 minutes, he'll know what she's going to be. Mm. We have that same tendency too. We know what it's going to be. All right, his mind is good. Let me.
Y'all explore each other's bodies. Y'all don't actually, you don't want to have sex, but y'all explore each other's bodies. You touch and you feel when you caress, but you don't actually have intercourse until marriage.
I would be okay with that.
So that's what I was going to say. I think that if I dated someone, if I date someone who actually that was their belief, I think I can do that. I can do that. I can actually, if they don't want to have sex until you're married, I can do that. But however, I do want to do the whole explore thing. At least let me see.
But I don't know if you know what I'm saying, because you say and then no stroke game.
And so listen. But the whole thing is. That's true, but that's something that you're going to learn together. Something that can be taught.
Teach them how to arch his back. And you teach them how to arch his back.
We know all that. Because when you're in a relationship, period, or you talk to somebody that's going to potentially get that way, you having those conversations. So you should be having those conversations so they know what you like, what you don't like, and it's vice versa. And some things might be deal breakers for them, and if it's deal oh, you don't do that, oh, then all right, then that's it. Okay, no, I don't do that. I ain't going to do that. So just make the list.
Yes, no.
No, the explore part
change when she starts.
Listen, the explore part, but just because they working with it don't mean they know how to work
it. That's some who don't have much, but they know how to work it. So it can change because stuff can be taught. And I don't want
the engine.
I don't want a conversation with somebody and then I'm coming with my friend, you come with your friend, and then we just stand here. Mm-hmm. When I say I want to be stretched, in all areas, right. So I want to be stretched, so we need to be a small thing, but we in a relationship, so just be between us. So I'm teaching you some things, you teaching me some things. That's how I mean, some things
that's
can be
the fun
taught.
of it.
Yeah, it's the fun. Some things can be taught.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
What you got for it?
If he ain't learning, then that's something else.
Okay.
That's a whole nother.
A couple is staying in a relationship because of the kids.
Oh, Lord.
Is this noble or foolish? And please explain your answer.
Foolish.
A couple is staying in a relationship because of the kids. Is this noble or foolish? Please explain your answer.
Foolish,
Why did
because
it? It's foolish.
if the kids gonna leave the house. So you stay together in this miserable ass relationship for the children, and then when it's time for you to live life, you can't live life with the partner that you stayed together with for the children, because y'all been miserable for the last umpteen years because you're just trying to stay together for the kids. And then actually kids know when you are unhappy. You guys who had parents, y'all lived in a two-parent house, so you know you knew your mother wasn't unhappy.
Yeah, and
so how did you feel being a child in a house with a mother and a father and they're unhappy? Like kids want their parents to be happy. My daughter said to me, like, when she knew me and my husband was gonna separate, she was like, "Mom, well, the second separation, the first separation, I made her go with him because of the deal that we had before. When we talked about, you know, the what ifs, it was like, you know, well, we break up because I didn't want any more children. He did, so I was like, well, we had more children. If God forbid we're no longer together, we decided to separate. You know, the kids going with you. We agreed on that pre-marriage, so." Post-marriage, well, in marriage, prior to getting a divorce, we separated one time, and my daughter went with him. But the second time, my daughter was like, "Ma, like I want you to be happy, and I'm older now, and I want to go with you." Like, so the kids, they know the kids don't want you to stay in a relationship for them. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
I say foolish because, like I said before, if I watched my mom do it, so if I do it, I already know what the impact has on the child, and it's worse for the child for you to try to make things work, and they see that trauma, or they see those arguments or those outbursts, or you sleeping in one room, dad sleeping in another, and we just trying to make it work.
And you're teaching them unhealthy habits in a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
So listen, it's foolish because I'm a product of it. So it's foolish. I would never stay in a relationship just for the kids. No,
That's just asinine.
Yeah, it's true, and I've done it. Like if like how you said, like you know better, do better. Like if it was today in today's day, like I wouldn't have done it.
Hey, it's your girl, Genice Chantel. Listen, my entrepreneurial journey has taught me one very important thing, that I am no punk. This past year, I've shed things that no longer serve me the way I feel fit, and I'm only doing things that bring me joy. Genice Chantel Wax Experience has been my baby for the past year, and it has grown so much over the past year. I am super excited to celebrate my 1 year in business and my new life. I look forward to seeing everything that I've envisioned for myself and my business. Get the wax, sis.
A man is dating two women. He lies to one about this and is truthful with the other. Which relationship does he value more?
So I say
neither one.
okay.
the reason why I said the person that he lies
They don't
to,
want to hurt them.
because they don't want to hurt him, and they know that person that they're lying to is not going to tolerate what the person that tells the
Is
truth
that
is gonna
value
tell.
though?
Dang, look at
Value?
you, psychology.
But is that value?
I
though?
feel
Oh,
like
that's definitely
No.
value.
I feel
I
like
think that's value.
If it was value, he wouldn't be doing it in the first place.
he wouldn't be doing it in the first place. But like I said, you don't know how he was raised or whatever. The question that you stated was who he values, either the
I mean,
person
he
he
might value
lies to
10% more,
or the
but-
one that he tells the truth to. A man that can just be blatantly disrespectful to you and say, "Yeah, I'm messing with her," and
Yeah,
I'm doing
he
this
don't
and I'm
give
gonna
up
do that.
about
He
you.
don't
That's
care
not
about
true.
you.
That's not true.
Right.
And it's not what he says, how he says.
I agree. Like my
Why did you lie to me?
Like you said, I think
Not
neither one. I think he don't value either one of them. But
That was the
my
only
thing
part.
is, like,
She said if he came out
you know,
and said
be
the
honest.
truth.
When you take my choices away, that's what we got.
But when you tell the truth,
Right.
Yeah, but does that mean I care about you because I gave you the choice?
You don't have to care.
Hey, look at the car. Look, the car.
No,
Janice has the car. Your car, you got a whole nother
No,
car.
the whole thing is the question answer.
Does he care? Do you care about more?
Neither one of them.
Okay, that's an answer.
I think he cares
That's a
about
better
the one-
answer than what you were saying.
I think he cares about the one that he's lying to, because he knows in the back of his mind, if he tells her the truth,
She still ain't going nowhere.
I don't think the lie or truth comes in with how they value or how they care about the person. I think the truth and the lie comes in with what you perceive that person can handle or not. I can love both of them equally, but if I know James can handle my truth and I know John cannot, I'm going to lie to John and I'm going to tell James the truth. It don't mean that I love either one of them more or less. I know what they can handle. I know what I think they might can handle and what they may not be able to handle. You know who they are. I don't think it's a value thing. I think it's you know the person.
I can agree. I do agree with that.
Good answer.
Sounds like I look back.
Sound like she in therapy.
Come on.
Alright, so my question is, you're married and your spouse tells you that they slept around while you were dating. Would this change anything? Explain.
No.
Yes. I need to get back.
That's it.
Facts changes no robbery. The only thing need to change is you did it, now it's my turn. I'm really just joking.
I was scared for a minute.
I'm really just joking. I think that we can have a real thorough conversation. I get to ask all the questions that I need to ask, and he's able to articulate and answer those questions to make me feel comfortable about what happened prior. I would be fine, because I don't think cheating is not a deal breaker for me in a relationship. The dishonesty. So I don't feel like you should, my thing, I'm like polygamous-ish, if that's a word. Right, I just made that up. So I don't believe that, cheating is a deal breaker for me. I think that it's the lack of honesty that is a problem. So
my just don't lie. Since you're telling me your truth about what you did while we dating, can you handle my truth? Oh, I'm not mad because I did too. It had to be completely different, like, cause we accept way more than what they did. Mm-hmm. They could have handle right more than because he could have said named you 5 people that he messed around with, and you don't get with one person. And that is the section when a woman talking to one person. It's a whole nother ball game.
It's a difference when a woman cheats versus a man. It's a woman when we cheat. Well, not me, but when when a woman cheats, she puts emotion into it. And when a man cheats, it's just something to do.
And that's not across the board. That's not across the board.
But no, you don't all cheat for emotion. No, it's some. I said some.
Just get.
Yeah, I said some, not me. I know how to send you on your married wife, give you a baby wife, and tell you peace. So it's everybody is not. Everybody is different. Like the more.
On the night thing.
Now I get a minute to be like, where you going? You right here with that baby white, you a Ziploc bag. You can toss it, whatever. It's the dumpster on the you're not staying. So like when I cheat. I know what's going in, what I want. I mean, not cheat. I'm sorry. If I do a get back, I know how to decipher emotions from what's real, what's not real. I know how to put that blockage up. Most other females, they be like, I slept with someone else and we just connected.
It just happened.
Yeah, and the dude go home and be like, yeah, I'm at sure at the club and just hit it up. We just, hopefully I see her around, or if I don't, on to the next chick. And we still stuck on emotion from the cheat or the sex we had with the person that ain't even thinking about us right now. So, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's different. Are we doing a new? Okay. A man is dating a woman and she becomes pregnant. Once the baby is born, he finds out she didn't give the child his last name. He breaks up with her. Is he overreacting?
Yes. They can go and change it. They can have a conversation. They can change the name. Why leave? He left because he wanted to leave. Or he's too emotional.
He just used that to leave. Anyway. He used that reason to leave. He was just waiting for one small thing to leave. He just used that to leave. That's not it. Yeah, he just used that to leave. That's all.
What you think?
Ain't no small thing.
What did he say? It's still his kid.
That ain't no small thing. You ain't say it was his kid. We don't know. And when you make that move, it makes us think it ain't our kid.
Well, that's easy. You don't have to leave. You can get a DNA. You get a DNA, and then, once the DNA comes
Well,
back,
did she give him a
Now, whose last name is it? Is it a random nigga last name? Or is it her last name?
her last name, I would assume.
Oh, well, that would call you say.
Maybe it's
Call
not
it
because if it was
DNA.
married.
Well, who embedded it that it has to be his last name? Why can't it be your last name?
That
If
should have
y'all
been a
not
conversation,
married,
though. I think that should have been a conversation.
it should be a
Absolutely,
conversation.
absolutely.
We can hyphen it for all
But
I care.
unfortunately, most children aren't playing, so it's like, yeah, I'm pregnant.
So I had a reason for mine. When my son's father, I was about to say God rest his soul, but just make sure your soul made it. When my son's father found that I was pregnant and he thought it was a girl, he treated me horrible. When he found out Ethan was a boy, then was like, oh, I want my son to have my last name. Let's do this. And I did the research, and because he was from another country, they said there's a child act law, not a child support law in that country. And if you put his name on that birth certificate, he could take your child. We're not gonna go look for him, and it's on you. So when you give when you give a child a man's last name, you're giving him rights to your child. And if he's not consistent while you're pregnant, and that time frame, he ain't gonna be consistent then, and you giving them rights for what?
I don't think it. Well, I know.
What we giving them rights for?
I was actually talking about holding a different country.
No, I'm just saying that was the reason why I didn't give him his last name. But it goes forward too. If he's not doing what he's supposed to do throughout the relationship, through the pregnancy, why should I give him rights to something that he's not even showing up 100% for right now? So it's those traits.
For me, I
All my
think
kids
it's history.
have their last name. Except for Devin. And the reason why Devin had my last name is because his father was an asshole at the time, and I gave him that choice. Like, he didn't want to be a father, so I'm not gonna give you my son. My son not gonna carry your last name. If you don't want to be a father to him, so I'm not gonna give. So he had my last name, and I was fine with that. But all my other kids, they have their dad's last name. But my oldest son, he had my last name because he made that. I asked him, he didn't want to be a father. Like, he didn't. So it was my choice to keep my son. I chose to keep him. He didn't want to be a part of his life, so I gave him my last name.
I just I was taught, legacy wise, that's just what you did. I don't
No,
that's
he wanted me to
give you a right.
He wanted me to get rid of my son, and I didn't. So I chose to keep my son. So if you don't want to be a father, then I'm not gonna give you father rights. Like, he's not gonna carry that.
But y'all had a discussion. Y'all talked about it, so.
No, I asked him, did he want to be a father? He said that. So for them, giving him my name, that was my decision that I made. He regretted now because my son is no longer here. Like, you regret that that he didn't have your last name, but you can't take it back. But you didn't want to be a dad, so I wasn't gonna force you to be a dad. I didn't take you there for child support, and I didn't give you his last name. Like, to you, it was my son, so okay, this will be my son.
That's a right. It's a right and a privilege, and if they're not living up to it during that pregnancy, during the time when you put that name on that birth certificate and they sign it, you're giving them the right to make a decision about a child that you bear. If they're not showing consistency and responsibility, they're not going to show with the name on the birth certificate either. So to me, it's a right and a responsibility. Like, if you're going to be the man that you're going to be, do what you're supposed to do. This could be a co-parenting situation, things like that. Then yes, but I'm not going to give you the right to my child, and you're not showing me that you're worthy of that. I'm sorry.
All right,
if you want our last name,
I think
you're
it's
gonna
an
marry
individual
us.
choice.
Just that's something. All right, so I think we're gonna wind it down with this last question. I think this was fun. So this says, your significant other's opposite sex friend, who they call their sibling, is staying the night with the two of you. During a drinking game, you find out that they slept together years ago. What happens next?
Jesus.
We need to have a conversation, because to me, if y'all that close, like, that's something that you should have told me. Like, and then it ain't no more staying the night though.
What happens next? We all here. We having a drinking game.
So we gonna have a conversation like this.
Right in the middle of the game.
No, we will have a conversation like if we've been drinking, then it depends how much we drink because it can escalate if alcohol involved. Then there might be other people involved. But after this drinking game, we're having a conversation. The very next day, after everybody hungover's gone and everybody sobered up, like we're having a conversation, which is the conversation we should have had before I found out this way.
But they would stay staying the night. Does she still get to stay the night?
I ain't that drunk and she's staying the night. So I'm gonna say I go. We're gonna have tomorrow. We're gonna have a conversation tomorrow, but. You can't stay here tonight.
But my thing about
unfortunately, but due to the new information that just came about,
right?
You gotta get an Uber back to California.
Yeah, pretty much.
You had to call your
or go to a hotel or wherever. You can stay anywhere. How they say you ain't gotta go home, but you got to get the hell out of here.
And why would you even allow me to date him or be with him, knowing that you slept with him and you my friend?
Yeah, no.
That's not what
it's not. It's
saying that just significant. The guy that you're with brought a girl over who he called his sister.
Oh hell no! Sisters are always chicks that they slept with. Hell no!
Always.
Hell no!
Oh, okay.
This my sister. This my brother. No, you're fucking no. He's not.
Who hurt you, sis?
No, but I'm just saying, like, nah. Because the reason why I can attest to this, and nobody hurt me with this situation, because I got a lot of big brothers.
I know we weren't brothers. Because you was always the sis.
I was the sis. I'd be like, it's so good to finally meet you. When I was dating a musician, we 17 years on and off. He used to bring his little girlfriends over, like, yeah, this my sis, like, this my bestie, All right, we gonna go down in the studio while you go upstairs and go to sleep. Yeah. Call me, confide in me, like, your girlfriend just called me. Like, listen, I'm just being honest, like.
No judgment.
I was young.
But I think that women and men can be friends.
I agree that they can be friends.
I agree as well.
But that information like that should have been a conversation. Like we should have had a conversation, like not while we drinking and sis not staying the night. And if he don't like that sis not staying the night, then he can leave too.
If he don't at his house.
Why would you even leave her?
I ain't going home because I've been drinking, so we still can leave.
Well, why would you even invite her? That's the whole.
Like, it was his sis, and it said years ago. All right, so
before we go, come on. I just want to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, me and Janice messing around. No, not messing around. We're in a relationship, right? Prior to her, me and Erica had something. We don't have nothing now. We cool now. She's like my sister. We've moved into a friend zone, right? Why would I say this girl who's in the friend zone with me now? We used to, smash in the 90s.
Why wouldn't you?
Why would I? Because it's going to make her exactly the
respect thing.
No, but the exact circumstance that's happening with the drunk game is what I was trying to avoid. So I didn't tell her that.
No, you just made it happen. You didn't avoid it. You made it happen by not being honest because it couldn't come up in the drinking game if she already knew. It said it came.
She would have, but we would have been together. But she would have been uncomfortable with this friendship that I have because of the past.
On the woman that you're dating, because I absolutely would not have a problem with my ex bringing his ex around if they're only friends now. And so it depends on the woman you're dating. Again, for me, it's the lie. When you withhold information, that's a lie. So give me the choice to be.
Everybody got a pass. You ain't one day your whole pass.
I do have a male best friend, and we used to date 17 years ago. It's strictly platonic now, and my husband did have a problem with us being friends.
Absolutely, I would too. I would too. I don't need to know that. Like I don't need to know every. I don't need to know every ring. No, I'm saying I didn't want to know that. No, so if she didn't tell me that, so I don't need to know about. I don't know about the random.
Find out we're doing a drinking game, then I already know that.
I'd rather they be able to hold their liquor, right? But if they couldn't, I also don't need to know about the random nigga from after Odell's that she fucked too. Like I don't need to know that either.
You don't know about him, but you might need to know about my friend who I dated 17 years ago.
I only need to know if you fucking him now. But if you fucked him way before I met you, I don't need to know. Like I said,
So you will be okay with
potential problem though.
Yeah, but so if it came up later, somewhere else, it might not be a drinking game. It could be a mutual friend that y'all have that say, we used to go out on double dates, and you like double dates.
Yeah.
If you find out later, that's a problem.
But if the relationship
honesty is.
But I think that it's easier. It's easier now that we've built everything to deal with something like that than in the early stages for me to drop some heavy shit on her and this girl will always be around. Look, she been around before you either deal with it or you don't. That's gonna be hard in the beginning. But once we develop feelings, we can deal with something like this easier than in the beginning. In the beginning, she may say, you told me, I'm glad you told me, thank you for your honesty. I'm about communication and I can't do this. She may say that.
I had a guy friend who we wasn't in a relationship. We just on a drunk night wound up having sex. But he was a friend before, more like family. So when I met my husband, I introduced him as my cousin because we were calling each other cousins prior to me meeting my husband. He didn't just become a cousin because this is my man now. So when I told my husband about the drunken night, and it was so crazy because at the time the cousin was messing with my friend. We was all on a double date, and I told my husband about it, and he absolutely blew a damn gasket. So then I had to make a choice between my cousin and my relationship, and I chose my relationship. And my cousin understood it. He like, that's your husband. It's all good. Like,
but it's not your cousin.
I'm divorced.
Like you can't.
I'm divorced, so he's my cousin again, man.
You turned it from a best friend that I was fucking to a whole family member.
But I didn't say that. I said a drunken night we slept together. We was already friends. Yeah, because we was always calling each other cousins around everybody because we had a good bond.
And then you fucked your cousin. Like
I didn't.
But that's what I'm saying.
My friend who I called my cousin.
But that's what I'm saying. When they call, and that's another thing that I have to work on because when they be like, this.
So should I not have told my husband?
Absolutely not. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. You completely.
So give him a choice because that's what he was mad about. He said that I should have given him the choice before bringing him around. He said he could have accepted it if I would have told him up front before I broke up any other.
He feels like.
I took his choice away.
Yeah, well, he feels humiliated because he probably bonded with, because that was your cousin. Like, right. It's different than the best friend. This is like the cousin. This is literally a member of your family. Right. According to me, even though he never found anybody he was related to you, but he should do his research. Who cousin is this? Like, who? She's only her cousin.
I got big fame.
And then everybody, they had family reunions like, this is my cousin. Everybody sneak around like that. Ain't cousin. Like,
all right, guys, we gonna sum all this up to say, thank y'all for watching. Becoming her. Keep healing, evolving, and restoring.